Jar Oil Company stands tall as a trusted name in energy, keeping the Gambia moving with service stations across the country and a commitment to innovation and reliability. In Farafenni, Jar Group is reshaping our industrial landscape. The Jar Oil Cement Factory can produce up to 100,000 bags a day, reducing imports, creating jobs, and building a stronger Gambia brick by brick. And in the heart of the Central River region, Jar Farming Initiative is cultivating food security. With thousands of hectares under development and modern irrigation, Jar Farming is turning the Gambia's soil into abundance. Jar Group is more than a company. It is a vision of self-sufficiency, resilience, and progress. The Jar Group of companies, investing in industry, agriculture, and energy, building the Gambia's future today.
Santa Yalla.
Looy xaar utal Wave nga scan nga fay nag doo ci yokk dara.
In the Gambia, we all move to different paces. Time is money, convenience is power, and now both are in your hands. No more long lines, no more late payments, no more missed chances, not anymore. Because now the Gambia has its own super app, Zap. One app, one tap, endless convenience. Send money instantly, pay your bills in seconds, shop without borders, pay your rides, order your meal, buy your ticket, deposit and withdraw money for absolutely free. No extra charges, no hidden fees, only on Zap Super App. This is not just convenience. This is confidence. This is the future in your hands. And the best part, Zap is born right here. Built for us, designed for every Gambian home, every Gambian dream. So don't wait in the past. Step into the future. Download Zap today on App Store and Play Store and enjoy endless free services. Call us today on our toll-free number 1666 or on 260-0001. Zap, all in one, all for you. Tap in, zap in.
Joining me in person is one of the most outspoken voices from the region, Honorable Almameh Gibba, the National Assembly member for Foni Councillor. For weeks now, communities in Foni have been living with the sound of gunfire and the fear that comes with clashes between Senegalese forces and the MFDC fighters just across the border. Families have been displaced. Schools may have shut their doors, and reports of shells and stray bullets landing inside Gambian territory have left residents feeling exposed and unprotected. What has deepened the frustration for many is the silence from the authorities. With no reference to the crisis in the President's Corité message and none in the State of the Nation address, Honorable Gibba says the people of Foni feel forgotten at a time when they most need reassurance and action. And he wants to tell us more. That's why he's in the studio with me now. Honorable Gibba, good morning and thanks for coming.
Thank you, Aji Jacob Khan. It's a pleasure being once again at West Coast Radio on Coffee Time. It's a pleasure, and I do appreciate for the time that is given with Coffee Time, and also thank my people of Foni, more so the people of Councillor and that of the Gambia at large. Very appreciative.
We're always grateful to have your presence. Honorable, you have described the clashes between Senegalese forces and the MFDC fighters as a direct threat to Gambian communities. From what you are hearing and seeing, how serious is the security risk right now for the people living along the border?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think this government is one of the most unserious government ever the Gambia has since pre-colonial era. The British had a way in which they cage us in order to secure what they want and get loot what they have taken. When Jawara came, in all his odds, democracy and also security was at its peak, where when you look at the scenario of Jawara for 22 good years, Casamas crisis started in the 1980s, over 40 years ago plus. All right, so in the time of Jawara, you've never had or seen issues that are happening in Foni to that magnitude. Neither talking of cells or bullets penetrating the source of the Gambia, crossing even the Soma Basse Highway, to other vulnerable communities. Secondly, in Jammeh's time, it only happened once, that is 2029. Where a cell landed in a village called Foni Bintankarana.
You mean 2009?
2009.
Yeah.
All right. So it happens that year where one cell landed in a village in Foni Bintankarana called Siwal. This is where you see the pragmatism of a leader, or how a leader behaves, or how a leader who wishes the aspiration of his people, the safety of his people, and also to uphold the sovereignty of the country. Jammeh went on national television and addressed the nation and addressed his counterpart in Senegal that if the bullet repeats again, he will retaliate. That was said and done from 2009 till he left the seat of power. But when this government came, what they promised the Gambian people, and if I could also reflect back, these were messages, as the former president said when he conceded defeat to Barrow, that don't compromise with the security of this country. If only this advice Barrow took, I think the Gambia could have seen a better footing in terms of territorial integrity. When it happens, 2017 till date, Foni is just like Torobora Mountain. The war of Afghanistan and the Americans, where cells would be landing, bullets all over, crisscrossing. This is what happened in Foni. And I will give you one snapshot of the danger that is looming in this end, where we have the National Security Advisor who is paying a deaf ear to the issue of Foni. And I can say it loud and clear. I've said it in Parliament yesterday, and I'll repeat it here. We also have the Defense Minister who is paying a deaf ear into the issue of Foni. It's a looming crisis. And also we have the Commander-in-Chief, that is President Barrow, who is also paying a deaf ear in the issue of Foni. And again, we also have the Intelligence Chief, National Intelligence Agency, where they also have a base. They also have a regional base in Foni, in Buyam, who are paying a deaf ear into this crisis. Because when happens, 2017, 18, 19, I am telling you, and the scenario is coming, where when the fight breaks, this crazy fight that is currently going in Foni is caused by the Senegalese forces who are stationed in Foni. And I do say this. When they pursue a lorry, the checkpoint, the Senegalese soldiers in Buyam checkpoint, they pursued a truck lorry with loaded timbers to the borderline. The villagers in Balen told them, as you are moving this side, you are heading to the territory of rebel base. They didn't pay heed. If you could remember, I think research base, where ECOWAS and the Senegal and the government sent a workforce to see how best they could see. So Senegalese lost. And again, also, it committed ECOWAS to mediate with the rebel leader, where some of the Senegalese soldiers were taken from the rebels and returned back to Senegal. So when that happened, the Macky government came with an all-out war. That is, they must flush the rebels in the rebel base within the borderline region. But now the danger behind is, from the other part of Senegal, you have the Senegalese forces.
Yes.
And in the middle, you have the rebels in Casamance. And in the other part, you also have the Gambian National Army who are patrolling the border. Then along the roadside of Brikama Soma Highway, you have the Senegalese base who had their military base and their military checkpoint. So the danger behind is 2017, 18, 19, a war erupted where I'm telling you for facts. The rebels came and took over a Gambian village in Brikama Soma Highway, that is Bajegar, with their arms and ammunition, ready to attack the Buyam military garrison of Senegalese force and that of Kanilai. So the Senegalese soldiers in that end had to seek refuge in Kanilai. They had to run away. It was the Gambian soldiers, the 4th Infantry Battalion who are based in Kanilai, with the commander Omar Bojang. They came to broke peace with the rebels, used their military tactics, convinced the rebels, and the rebels went back to Casamance. So look at this. Senegalese are fighting the rebels in the other part of Senegal. But Senegalese soldiers also are in the Gambia. So when the rebels knew this, they came to Bajegar and take ownership of the village. They take ownership of Trans-Gambia Highway. That day, no vehicles from Brikama, neither Soma will pass. They take refuge and they were targeting the military base in Buyam. So it was only the Gambian soldiers who rescued this country, not the Senegalese economic soldiers. Because for me, I do tell them, Colonel Njai in 2017, when Aruna Jada was killed, he said publicly that the Senegalese soldiers in Foni are not economic soldiers. And we stand by that. So generally, when that happened, you realize that the move shifted. The Gambian soldiers came and negotiated with the rebels to leave our territory, to go back to their rebel base in Casamance. Then this was why the Senegalese, with all their power and arsenals, they had to seek refuge in the other part of Kanilai. They left the checkpoint in Buyam. When the Gambian neutralized and make sure they convinced the rebels and went back, it happens. So in 2024, 1st of January, when the bombardment were continuing, and this led to the effect of killing Dua Bachi of Gilamfari. He was killed in the Gambia and taken to Senegal. For 40 days, his dead body was nowhere to be seen. It is us, the National Assembly members of Foni. We had a rendezvous meeting with the Commander-in-Chief, that is the CDS, the Defense Minister, and all institutions within the purview of security, that what is going in Foni is enough. We sent messages in 2018. Sorry, when we came 2022, we petitioned the President. These are facts that I'm saying. When we petitioned the President, putting salient issues, the death of Aruna Jata, women who are affected by the war, the issues of girls who are impregnated in Foni, the issue of children who are not going to school, the issue of schools adhering to a number of students because of the fear of war. And again also, I could say this, since colonial 1965 till Jammeh's era, we've never had Gabege been pushed because of a war. Grade 9 exams were halted because of the war of Casamance. So when it happens, we put as parliamentarians, we petitioned Barrow. I can tell you, we went and sat with President Barrow for more than 3 hours in the issue of our petition. What we were given is, I will contact my justice minister, I will contact the defense minister, I will do this, and then I will get back to you. We made follow-up to no avail. But what we did was, in 2024, 1st of January, before that, we sent a message that enough is enough for Foni, and we are going to stage a massive demonstration. From Block to Kalaji, no vehicle will pass. We want Senegalese to excuse us. We want Foni to be seen that it is not a rebel base. Foni is part of Gambia, and they deserve what other people in Mankunda and other cohort villages are receiving. So when we happened, this is where we were called by the defense minister and all security apparatus. 1st of January 2024, we went on a tour for them to see from themselves what we are saying, whether it's true or not. I can tell you from Foni Bintang, cells will be landing in our own Gambian soil. The government will not even take any action. Soldiers in the borderline will seek refuge when cells are landing, after which they will come and advise the village, don't do this, and they'll now use their arms or whatever means to remove those cells and also remains of pebbles of cells that are landing in Foni and bullets. So when it happens by 1st of January 2004, we went. The CDS was present with us. All the 5 names of Foni, the defense minister, IGP, National Security Advisor, all Security Council. We went on patrol, village to village. We saw them animals that were killed, vulnerable houses that were bombarded with cells landing in Foni. We pray our Isha prayer in Kanila by 9 at night from morning. And our end route was in Kanila, where we went to the bigger house where soldiers' remains of cells, bullets that had landed in Foni were packed. We told them, it is now see for yourself. Whatever we are saying in Foni is not hearsay. They know, they saw, they see it. We went to the ground, and where even a horse or a donkey was even brutalized and almost paralyzed by cells from Senegal in a village called Karangalbrata. The former defense minister, Seri Modu, was present. We saw it for our eyes. They saw it. The IGP saw it. Intelligence saw it. National Security Advisor saw it. Ministers responsible, they all saw it, both interior and defense. So this is not hearsay. The issue of Foni is at a crossroad. Now when that happens, we told you these are signals. And a signal is coming. And the funniest part is, whenever war occurs in Casamance, the Senegalese soldiers in Foni will be in combat. Combat means ready for war. What are they signaling? In the Gambia, they are in combat nature. You are in the Gambian soil. You say you're protecting the Gambians, not Senegalese, not Casamance people. In the front part of Senegal, Casamance, you have the Senegalese forces. In the middle, you have the rebels. And along the border, you have our Gambian soldiers who are patrolling. And along the highway of Gambia, you have Senegalese base. And when one war erupts, they are in combat threat. Sometimes you see them standing on the highway. What are they defending? In the Gambia, they said they are economic soldiers. They are only protecting the internal issues of the country, but instead involving in the internal affairs of our country. And that shows a signal. And the other part that we are saying, and I want to be very clear, the war in Casamance is not a Gambian war. It's not a Foni war. We made it to our people very clear that don't involve in any issue of Casamance. And we do also go around to villages and inform them that whatever you see that is not abnormal, report to the soldiers in Kanila, or report to the police or immigration or any forces that you could see. Let's remove ourselves from the issue of Casamance. Now, in the long run, we are hearing that the government said there are intelligence that are showing that Foni is harboring rebels. I can tell them. We have the intelligence, national intelligence agency in the Gambia. We've not seen any report. The intelligence of this country say. Neither the police or the army say. So if they depend their intelligence report with Senegal, it's a joke. Because we believe that our border is not manned by the Foni people. Our border should be manned by immigration, the police, and the intelligence, and the military. So if they fail to do the responsibility, we cannot go to villages or compounds or houses and now say, we are fetching rebels. You are a rebel. How do you identify them if the government is really serious? And the saddest part of all, with all these bombardments and selling that is doing in Foni, when we went 21st of January 2024, they told us, all the Security Council, I am saying this, and I want them to repeat this. They told us that they will send a report and communicate back to us and communicate to the people of Gambia what they saw. Villages, you see, big holes, houses were destroyed by cells, families ran away, destruction of animals, some cells even kill animals, all right? Dua was shot dead. And we even went to the area where Dua was killed. You could even see the split of blood. The way they drag him to Casamas, as if it is a wheelbarrow or a bag that is not a wasted that they want to throw on the Kotu Kware dumping site. We saw all these things. And now the government could not even follow to know where the dead body of Dua was. We told them. And we went and met with the defense minister and all security forces. Compensation of a small chunk of money, we will retaliate and will get up for our right. They informed President Barrow, 50,000 whatever, he compensated the family of 1 million, 1.3 million. That's why he compensated the family. And in the burial day of Dua, we have to secure the ministers with all the security, because we knew, the people knew that the government is not serious about the issue of food. After the burial, we told them the truth. After the burial, they told us. We went to a report to ascertain his death. We have evidence of all those medical reports. From the killing that happens in the border in Karunor, those 3 young kids who they allege that they are not Gambians. After me producing those documents at the National Assembly, educated, otherwise finished his school in Penyan, So when they report and say, no, these are refugees. The issue that we have as Gambians is, they will see things right, but they will associate issues not being Gambian in order for them to run away. As a government, you should be responsible to take ownership of whatever had happened. So I just made them to talk, defense minister, interior, whatever, came out all with Jambori statements saying, they are not Gambians. In this assembly, I produce national ID cards saying that, I produce passport as old as they are. I think 2 of them was a week or 2 born in the hospital. That's the time they got their birth certificate. So they are left dumb. They don't have anything to say, but instead to become quiet. So all these are happenings that had gotten Foni. But the worst recent happening in Foni Bintan Karana had left families not to even attend Eid al-Fitr prayers. School-going children, schools closed yesterday, Wednesday, for Easter. But I'm telling you, schools in Foni closed a week or 2 ago. Because what? The cells that are landing in primary schools. I can tell you, you know Sibano?
Yes.
The primary school of Sibano is after the Brikama Soma Highway. Now imagine kilometers of 20, 40, almost 15 kilometers from the border, or more than that, I can even say. Cells will emanate all the way from Senegal, or bullets will emanate all the way from Senegal and land in compounds in Sibano, and land in primary school, Sibano basic cycle. Bullets will land there. That has seek attention to the headmistress to close the school. The like of Kappa in Foni Council, all those borderline schools are closed. Because of what? Fear. Because you will not have a full agronomic learning environment when cells are landed. You there rescue the kids. Closer. And gardens in Sibano, women who are making ends meet, all those gardens, bullets will land in those gardens. And the funny part of it, with all these issues that are happening, you will never even see a press release from the government saying, yes, we all know that this has happened, but this is our message. None of those issues are even mentioned by our Gambian government. Instead, the funny part that we see is we saw a customer security border security alert by an institution that is just a baby, a new institutions in the Gambian legislation. I think 1 year or so, we enacted this law in the National Assembly called the National Early Warning and Response Mechanism Coordination Center. In their press release that they sent to the Gambian people about the issue going in the borderline, if I could get to one of the, it says, the Gambia presents its compliments to the public and wish to draw urgent attention to the evolving security situation along the Casamance borderline. The recent confrontation between the Senegalese armed forces and the elements of MFDC of Casamance have heightened tension in the region, with direct implication of the border communities within the Foni. Preliminary reports indicate that the ongoing hostility have resulted in population displacement from following Casamance communities. You see now? They are now saying villages in the Gambia are Casamance communities. It's a Jakin, it's a Gambian village. Kamosor is a Gambian village, but they say it's Casamance. Batendeng, Ajapine is a Gambian village, they said Casamance. Kayenga and Jifanga. All these villages are Gambian villages. Some of them are even far from the border. But we have the National Early Warning and Response Mechanism, NCCRM, saying that they are Gambian villages. It's just the same thing that when those 3 sons of Gambia were killed, they prompted and said they are Senegalese. I went on the National Assembly and brought a matter of the day in rebuting and making inform the Gambian government, including the commander-in-chief, that he is sitting on a timing bomb on issues of Foni. I can tell you for now, vulnerability is far imaginable in the issue of Foni. Women's garden, they don't go to water their garden. Schools are closed. Families are living in a terrifying environment. Internal displaced person. Not because we are from Casamance, but because we live in the border, but because we are Gambian, but because we are neglected by this government. Until date, only National Early Warning Response Mechanism send this press release. President Barrow, we all had him. If, for example, he's a serious president and he's a president for all, I will say it. If he is a president for all, he could have used the Tobaski message and informed the Gambian people, as we are celebrating, we have another region that is volatile with issues of whatever. And these are measures that we are taking as a government. He went and used the Eid al-Fitr politically with Jambore statements of what he has passed the 3 years, who advised him, and what he wanted to. That's not the message.
How is that silence, being interpreted by the people in Foni?
No, the silence is just like, we find it as a norm, because all these scams that happens in the border region, President Barrow has not equivocally came and now sent a strong statement warning the Senegalese government. And also Commander-in-Chief saying, your cells are landing in Foni. Bullets are crisscrossing in Foni. Can you halt it off? I can tell you, it was here when Peter even used a news headline. It was my question and answer with the then defense minister. Sent a signal that we will not compromise the territorial integrity of the country. Later on, the Minister of Defense rebutted and said they didn't say it in Parliament.
So what, in your view, should the government be doing right now? Both domestically and diplomatically, that is to protect border communities and reassure the nation.
Because the problem that I see is this government term as if their survival, remaining in power, and security depends on Senegal. Any action that they take to inform the Senegalese authority of heinous issues that are going in Foni, the diplomatic arena of them having forces in the Gambia will end up, staggering something. Either they say, okay, we will withdraw, or we will no more have the Senegalese here. So this is why they are not coming all out to inform the Gambian people. Instead, they are only talking, if you go there, okay, we'll take note, whatever, sending soldiers. Gambian soldiers, when cells are landed, they'll be hiding. Ill-equipped in the border. Our Gambian soldiers are ill-equipped in the border, they'll be hiding. When cells land, they'll go to the villages and they remove and pack it in Kanila. There is a house full of these remains of cells, bullets that are packed. And the National Security Council, they saw in their naked eyes, in front of us, we saw to them, any area where a cell landed in Foni, we visited and they saw it. Destruction of animals killed, compounds that are hit by bullets, all this they knew. The then Security Council. Nobody will say that they're full. Some of them, we do go through foot. Some other area, we enter the bush, show them the borderline, demarcations of the borderline, they saw. And I'm telling you, from Block to Kalaji, all those areas, we have full-fledged demarcated borderline, all demarcated borderline. So the crisscross and saying that, okay, you are in the border or not in the border or outside the border is all seen and felt. But the rationale behind all this thing is fear of either the Senegalese will remove their soldiers here or I will not be protected because he doesn't have the trust and confidence of the Gambian soldiers. Because today, if you go to a state house, the person who will clear you to meet your president is a Senegalese. The person who will clear you will speak French to you or will speak Wolof to you. A country that gains its independence in 1965. It has never happened in Jawara, neither Jame. It happens in Barrow for almost 10 good years. And even he wants election, the Senegalese will remain here and take control of our state house.
So beyond the immediate crisis, what long-term measures do you believe are necessary to ensure that communities in Foni are no longer living at the mercy of a conflict that is not of their making?
As first, in our resolution that we've passed the petition to the president, if I had heard that, what is the rationale of Senegalese occupying Foni? They are occupational forces. They are not peace brokers. They are occupational forces. Because the reason why I say so, when war is erupted in Senegal, they are in combat ready. Any soldier that you ask about what is combat ready, it means a soldier who is ready to go to the battlefield. They will leave their stations and be around vulnerable within the key areas as if they are manning to defend the Gambian territory. It is our Gambian soldiers who are in the front line. At the back side of the Gambia, you have Senegalese who are there. In the middle, you have the rebels. And in the far front, you also have the Senegalese forces. What I'm just saying is, in our resolution, we suggested, hence they said economic soldiers are in the Gambia. Why can't we have the Nigerian contingent to replace the Senegalese in Foni? The moment you raise that, you'll see the eyebrow swaying. That instead, there is an interest, but not an interest of protecting the region. Because they believe, I don't know what will be the deal. Whether they have a deal with Maki and saying, Senegalese control Foni or the fear of controlling Foni. We said, if you really want sanity to grow in Foni, let's have the Nigerian soldiers to take areas in Foni. And we move Senegalese where Nigerians are. Ghanaians are in the other side. Or Ghanaians comes where Senegalese are, then the Senegalese goes to where the Ghanaians are. These were issues that we have been pushing. But you realize that they don't have interest. And the vested interest is they want to collaborate with the Gambian government to flush the rebels. In as much as they want to do that, it's not our interest. Our interest is for Foni, is we want sanity, we want peace. And the projectiles, the cells, the bombardments, or the bullets that are landing in Foni, we want this government to take a measure. We don't want those cells to be landing, or bullets to be landing in Foni. Even if the Gambian government wants, they can use Gambian armed forces to go and join with the Senegalese forces to fight the rebels. It's not our business. Our business, as what we Foninkas are asking, is we don't want cells emanating from Senegal, bullets emanating from Senegal, to either kill our people or kill our animals, destroy our buildings, give fear to our women in the garden. This is what we are asking this government. And this had also propelled for me to come with the matter of the day, to address their house. And that day when I brought that, you see a lot of concerns. But the other cohort group, I do tell you, the Terika for the NPP and their bandwagons, for them, they will only seal issues of the president. Even it's bad. We all know what is white, can never be black. And what is black, can never be white. I told them, why is it that when Jammeh took over in 1994, he didn't put barricades or he didn't even send security forces in Barajali. Neither even in Jawara's home compound in Fajara. But immediately they took over, it was the first front. They pushed Senegalese soldiers at SSP in Brikama. Then I told them, all this pushing, they are emanating to Foni. And not only Foni alone, Foni Council, that is the middle of Fonis. They came to Bajagar. The Bajagar people say, we don't want you here. Finally, they settled in Foni Council. And from their settlement in Fonis, havoc, terrorization, the first casualty of a death for this government, and I know a TRRC will be constituted after Barrow leaves, is Aruna Jatta. Aruna was bloodily murdered just to peacefully demonstrate and saying that we don't want you people here. We want you people to go. Enough of humiliation. Enough of terrorizing our people. enough of affection that we are facing as a region. His only crime was demonstrating, and he was shot dead in cold blood. Do you know what this government also do? After his death, we went to process. His death certificates were acquired. Everything was done normal. Only 2-3 days, all the contingent that came were taken back to Senegal free of charge, returned, and they brought new people and said you can continue stay. Meaning, they are now saying the killers of Arrajata go safe, return back to a destination. Job well done. It was done by this government. And if they are repeating and say they don't do that, we are asking why is it delaying the issue of justice for Arrajata? I've laid parliamentary question to the defense minister, interior minister, to the president himself, to no avail. Just as we did with the Jammeh assets. But I know when the people rise, they have to succumb to pressure. And this government doesn't know anything. And as of yesterday, I put it to in my debate to the to the vice president, saying that this is our last discussion of issue of Foni. And for us, we will never relent it. I put it to him that if the government is not ready to protect the people of Foni, we will protect ourselves. And our protection will depend on what we'll use to do a protection for ourselves. And it will be determined by the people of Foni, irrespective of our political affiliation. If the government is still saying a deaf ear, if it was Manka Mankunda, Barrow will act. If it was a cell today, a cell landed at Makati Square, or July 22nd Square, they name it, or you name it, whatever name that they are giving it now, or even in the capital city in Banjul, a cell broke there. You think the president will not act? You think the president will not send a statement? If it was a blown cell in Manka Mankunda, wouldn't he act? Look at the, the Rahmatas game that they have did in the issue of, Usainu Boja. An innocent boy. They paid a woman who came falsely out. And 1 million was withdrawn from our account, our government money. 1 million was given when it's not even solidified. So these are all charges, because if issues happen, we could have seen change. And henceforth, the National Disaster Management Agency, with all this displacement, I've not seen them going to Foni. It is the Foni families who are managing on their own to make sure, Aji, you are from my family, Musa, you are from my family, come and take refuge here.
Honorable, let's turn now to the other issue you want to address in this interview, and that's the President's State of the Nation address delivered in the National Assembly last week, which caused a problem involving you. First, explain what happened and why.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think it's a very good thing for me to clarify. And I think it's only dumb people who doesn't understand how a parliament, how does a parliament work, or the process and procedures in parliament works. As a parliament is a house of its own, independent house of its own, just like the executive, the judiciary and the legislative. I can tell you for free, Aji, we are not responsible, or we are not workers of president. We are workers of the people. We are elected by our electorates from various constituencies. State of the Nation address is a constitutional right. It's a constitutional to the president to address the National Assembly. Now, when he's addressing the National Assembly, he's addressing the Gambian people. If we say the president don't address the National Assembly, it means the president will not address Gambians. So when he comes from his home, that's why they don't say National Assembly members go to State House and listen to the president's address. They said the president, wear your suit, be with your soldiers, be with your guide, whatever weaponry or arm or protection or solidified ground that you want to do now, move away from that State House and go and find people. That is the chamber, the house of the people. So this is why he was prompted by the law and said, you cannot do it at your own house there. It has to be very clear for some of the slogans of NPP who are just floating the airspace, in which I've clarified in Kerfatu. That is, when the president came, he's answering to the people now, not answering to his own family, neither my family or another part. He's answering to the Gambian people. Thereby, each and every one of us, I am not called Almameh in the National Assembly. I am called Councillor, because I represent the people of Councillor. He represents people of Jokado, Bintan, Jaro, or Basse. That's why when you call an individual's name in the assembly, they will tell you a point of order that you should not address him by his name. Address him by the constituency that he is from. So I'm just giving you genesis for you can understand. And viewers will also get to understand how Parliament operates. And in Parliament also, you cannot dress anyhow you like. You cannot dress anyhow you like. If today the president wear only t-shirts and come, the law will say the president, you cannot enter. They say the president, you cannot enter in these chambers. If me, an honorable member, wear a t-shirt, a very short skirt, with jeans and whatever, stylish, the law will say you cannot enter here. You have to go back and solidify your ground. I can just give an example that said that nobody is above the law. The then former president, Aissatou Touré, when we had this Women Amendment Bill, he dressed in a dress code that is unbearable. He was stopped by the security that you cannot enter here. It was the clerks of the National Assembly who helped him a wrapper and order whatever to wear. You can go by the archives and view her. You will know that that is not her dress, but she was forced to wear in order to abide by the law in the assembly. So when that happened, the president came. And in our assembly, we have laws that guides the process of the chamber. Outside the assembly, you can now clap and do whatever, sing and dance, wear whatever you like. But the moment you want to go to the chamber, even journalists are asked and put in order that this is a dress code, this is what you should do, this is what you should not do in the chambers. And this is not the first time, this is not the second time. People are rectifying these issues. And we will continue. Even next SONA, if it happens again, I will stand by that, and it's a provision in our standing order. Our standing order 17H says clapping is not permitted in the chambers. Clapping is not permitted in the chambers. Either you are a National Assembly member, or a spectator, or a government official, or a minister, or even a president. If you are in that chamber, they said, the outstanding order said you should not clap. Now what happened was, the president was giving a speech. And the essence of the president addressing is not only addressing you go there. He will address us, a subsequent day will be set for us to dilate on his speech to our Gambian people. Now if you are making noise in the chambers, clapping, you are not even listening to what he's saying. At the end of the day, what would you tell to your people? And the funny part of National Assembly members of NPP and others who is supporting, the chambers is not a supporting ground. The chambers is not a football field. The chambers is not a bantaba. It's not a national museum. It's not a bantaba where you can act the way you want. The chambers, you have to comport and bring decorum in the National Assembly. If that decorum is not there, the president cannot even give his speech. Therefore, when he started, tables were beaten. Others were even using their tags and hitting the table. I don't mind. I told them, you can even use, kangaroo sticks and continue beating. It's not a problem. But hence you clap, we'll put you on order. The alcalos who are at the top. And also you have an advisor of the president who just newly appointed, Ahmad Jite. They were all clapping. So we leave it to go. Clapping was continuously happening as if they want to terrorize the National Assembly members. I said, no, this will not be left to go. So I rose on a point of order 17H saying that clapping is not permitted in the House. Therefore, I am asking the Speaker to put his House in decorum in order to make sure that we listen to the speech of the President. This was the message. So a member of Lower House said, no, we are just looking to disturb the President. I said, we cannot listen when noise. We cannot listen when our old laws are flattened. It's not to disrespect the President. I am putting an order, sanity, decorum in the House to make sure that we should not have noise. The President who is invited, the Commander-in-Chief, should be listened to so that we can all go with a message. And by Monday, we come and speak for or against or we critique his report. So when it happens now, it was a rule that came. The Speaker, rule said, he didn't hear. He said he didn't hear the clap. And I cannot force him to hear. I told him that I cannot force you to hear, but I will leave it with the public to continue. And now the funny part is, I was even telling members, as the president was speaking, I said, look at Ahmad Jite. He was even clapping as if somebody came and sat on him and said, stop. Ahmad Jite, he cannot deny that. You can go and view the National Assembly and see the way he was even behaving. I was fully respecting Mamadou Sabali, who was sitting next to him. Sabali was calm, postures and gestures, maturity was shown, responsibility was shown. This is what we expect people to do. But he was clapping, and the Alcala Mundu and one of Brikama and others, they were also clapping. So at the end of the day, we also rose, the honorable member of Kiang West, Lamin Size, said that enough is enough. We will not allow this parliament. So now they say, Honorable Gibba interrupted the president. I think it was Garame of QTV. That guy, I just sympathize him. That's why I came to clarify. We have joined the list and journalists. So some of those people who just pick a portion and push it to the public without even confirming. It's not about interrupting the president. It's about putting the house in decorum. The National Assembly is not a village bantaba. The National Assembly is not a Balpusser hall. The National Assembly is not a museum. The National Assembly is a House of Representatives. And President Barrow is answerable to us. This is why, when he laid his sworn address, the Constitution said he must come to Parliament. Or if he cannot, he has to send the Vice President. Now, if assuming that the President is on his own, even me, I'm not above the law. The President is not above the law. That's why, if he doesn't send the Vice President, the National Assembly has the obligation to sanction him, to put him in order, and say you must do so. If he fails, we can take action against a constitutional mandate. This was why, if you look at other parliamentary houses, the President can be removed by the National Assembly on an act against the Constitution. But for us here, majority carry, you cannot do that. But what I just want to clarify here is, an order was flattened against the Assembly in the chambers. Therefore, we cannot be silenced by saying, if you say you just interrupted the President, no. We are not interrupting the way. I can even say the people who are interrupting the way is even the party members they themselves.
Exactly.
Because they are the ones who are causing noise. They should respect the President. Let me tell you one thing, Aji. I want you to go and closely look at the President's speech. As he's saying, you have a phrase and a sentence. The person doesn't even complete the phrase, neither the sentence. They're hitting the table, clapping. I don't know. They respect the man. Understand where he lands and briefs in languages, in speeches, where he will start and end. So when you understand these terms and terminologies, it will help and guide. That's why I said a lot of Gambians, especially their Terikafo group, the NPP family, they need to be educated more in terms of who comes closer to the president.
So how exactly would you assess the overall priorities outlined in the SONA, or do you believe the address adequately responds to the country's most pressing challenges?
No, actually, when you look at certain sectors, I feel very flattened. I can say one where I'm also a member. In the security in the security aspects, they said it's a business inside. They rate Gambia as one of the most peaceful countries in West Africa. And in Africa, fought. I put it to the Vice President. And I told him, I want you to send this message to the President. Gambia is peaceful when Foni people were unable to pray Eid al-Fitr prayers. Schools are closed in Foni. Cells are landing in Foni. Vulnerability of women not going to their garden. Now, the other aspect that they talk about security sector reform. I do tell them, Giorgio, Aji, if you look at the security sector reform, we have 6 institutions. Among all those 6 institutions, none of those institutions has their bills enacted in Parliament. For example, it's only the National Security Council bill that is before and has been passed a law. When they came 2016, they said they are going to do security sector reform. Now, National Intelligence Agency, that they changed to SIS. I can tell you one thing that is very interesting. When they come to Parliament in our budget session, the NIA is still there. But in their communication, whatever, they'll be saying SIS. Constitutionally, it's not. The immigration bill is from the ministry to justice minister to whatever. Some of those bills are even in their filing cabinet, in their cupboard. They don't have interest for those bills. I said yesterday to the Vice President that he need to wear his shoes and go and fetch all those bills. The GAFA bill, nowhere to be seen. You go to the prisons bill, that they say prison reform. How can you reform a sector without their laws? You go to the drug law agency, coups and orders, some of these element drugs cannot even be prosecuted in terms of law. And now you are saying that you are into reform. fire service bill. These were bills that most of those bills were done and dusted by DCAF. Because DCAF had wind up and also did consultation, and they also did a review. A lot of issues were done. But why is it that all those bills are nowhere to be seen? Because what? They don't have interest. If they have interest of reform, they will do the needful. I can tell you, immigration last year, 2025, collected a revenue of $580 million. Immigration as a unit. With the success coming up with this bill, would change the narrative of immigration. But why? Because they don't have interest. You don't have people who are ready to make sure they put issues that are reflective in our Gambian society. And also, you look at this. Immigration has trained a squad called the Border Squad Unit. That Border Squad Unit emanates from the new bill. That is nowhere to be seen. And the Border Squad Unit, I think last week or week before last, they intercepted a boat here in Tangier or so. Do you know what happened? They were attacked by armed men. They had to seek excuses because they are not armed. How can you say immigration, go and patrol our border, go and patrol our waters, go and patrol against illegal migration when they are not even armed? And you went and trained the entire squad unit. The challenge is for the bill to take in charge of this unit. So all these are areas that I think they are not serious with. The security sector reform is at zero. What we have in security sector is only security sector reporting. People that they don't trust, they remove them from the army and other units. For example, Kupis are reinstated in the army. So what reform are they telling us? And now when you go to the health sector, I was saying to them, I saw a press release from a PRO of Edward Francis Morton Hospital. Go to Ndemba. Visit Ndemba right now. Spirojaras, whatever, their secos all over, you see, all on a pill environment. How do you expect, if the environment is not even conducive, how do you think patients will be in that one?
Honorable, the conversation is very interesting, but we completely run out of time. I'll allow you to please conclude so we can end this conversation for today.
All right, thank you very much, and I think it's a pleasure. What I will just conclude is, I think the Gambian people need to be very serious and craft leaders who are ready for the vision and aspiration of the Gambian people. We've seen yesterday crisis at Brufut. I think it's a signal for the rule of law. These were accusations that they were saying to the former president, and more is yet to come. This is just the ice break. We will see more of this before election period. Okay. So what I'm just putting to the Gambian people is, it is better for us to unite for a change than we are divided. And the oppositions, when they're not in talking terms and they're not ready to put their house in order, it's going to be very difficult for us to make gain. So it is high time for us to join force and make sure we salvage our country from a direction. I think the boat is already sinking. And to my people of Foni, we made it very clear to the president and his cabinet that Foni issue, we would no more be silent on it. If they don't want to take action, we will take action. And that action will be determined by the people of Foni, in which we will not sit and see our children going to school, our women losing their garden, cells are landing in Foni without even said nothing by the president and his commander-in-chief. So therefore, I am very appreciative for the invitation, and also thank Coffee Time, Peter Gomez, and all the team. And also thank you very much. This is the first time we are having an interaction.
Yes, indeed.
And I wish and pray that my friends are having Easter. Is it tomorrow?
No, Sunday is
Saturday, Sunday.
So, but the holidays, starts tomorrow. Yes.
I wish my friends, Christians, a happy Easter, and also thank them and thank everybody, and also thank the Gambian people. That it is us who will make change to this country.
Thank you.
And change begins now.
Thank you very much, Honorable.
Jar Oil Company stands tall as a trusted name in energy, keeping the Gambia moving with service stations across the country and a commitment to innovation and reliability. In Farafenni, Jar Group is reshaping our industrial landscape. The Jar Oil Cement Factory can produce up to 100,000 bags a day, reducing imports, creating jobs, and building a stronger Gambia brick by brick. And in the heart of the Central River region, Jar Farming Initiative is cultivating food security. With thousands of hectares under development and modern irrigation, Jar Farming is turning the Gambia's soil into abundance. Jar Group is more than a company. It is a vision of self-sufficiency, resilience, and progress. The JAR Group of companies, investing in industry, agriculture, and energy, building the Gambia's future today.
Yëpp lay fay. Sant yàlla. Looy xaar utal Wave nga scan nga fay nag doo ci yokku dara.
In the Gambia, we all move to different paces. Time is money, convenience is power, and now both are in your hands. No more long lines, no more late payments, no more missed chances, not anymore. Because now the Gambia has its own super app, Zap. One app, one tap, endless convenience. Send money instantly, pay your bills in seconds, shop without borders, pay your rides, order your meal, buy your ticket, deposit and withdraw money for absolutely free. No extra charges, no hidden fees, only on Zap Super App. This is not just convenience. This is confidence. This is the future in your hands. And the best part, Zap is born right here. Built for us, designed for every Gambian home, every Gambian dream. So don't wait in the past. Step into the future. Download Zap today on App Store and Play Store and enjoy endless free services. Call us today on our toll-free number 1666 or on 260-0001. Zap, all in one, all for you. Tap in, zap in.